Next, we have our wonderful guest all the way from the UK, and she's been waiting for a while. And let's get her back here. And the moment she gets back, let me just try to. Oh, yeah, she's back. Okay. Hi, Elizabeth. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Dr. James. How are you doing?
Okay. Yeah. And Elizabeth, please tell us, which part of UK are you from?
I'm in London.
Oh, you're in London. Okay, that's wonderful. I love London. Beautiful
Yeah.
place. And tell us your journey. I mean, how did you first get to know about this wonderful device? Of course, you can also tell us about your situation. And yeah,
Okay, sure.
you do all the talking, all right? So
I mean, a friend of mine had one, and I had
yeah.
a bad shoulder, and she was mentioning this treatment to me. So I had just booked, you know, a demo really.
Mhm.
And actually, the thing that happened is within her 10 minutes, she only did 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and my
And
shoulder.
sorry, but she did this remotely, didn't she?
She did this remotely through
Yes.
Zoom. So
Yeah.
here's the thing. I mean, I have
Mhm.
um, some history in body therapy, and
Yes.
it's a very familiar thing to me. So since 2011, I've been receiving remote
Mhm.
healing through
Yes.
a master that I know who lives in Bali, who
Mhm.
has a very world-renowned modality in
Yes.
body work. So
Yes.
receiving things remotely, I'm very attuned to it. Well,
Yes.
she switched this on and I was in agony. And I
Mhm.
couldn't tell her to stop because she wasn't live with me on Zoom. We'd ended the
Okay.
call and she was doing
Mhm.
it. She just said to me, lay down and
Yeah.
just notice what happens. And the shoulder just went into intense heat.
Yeah. So
So at first
you felt the
I
healing
felt it
crisis.
immediately.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I felt it immediately. And I was actually quite angry. And I thought, right, I can forget it. This has caused me pain. I didn't sleep that night. I had a very busy day the
Okay.
next day with
Okay. Yeah.
clients. I was not
Yeah.
actually very happy with this. Um,
Yeah. But
but
you
I
understood
recognized,
you understood what went
yeah,
on anyway, right? Yeah.
yeah, I recognized, oh, this works. This really works.
Yes.
Because then
Yeah.
the pain completely went, right, after that crisis. And so I think it was a few weeks later I ordered one.
Mhm.
And I was a little scared of it, to be honest, because I was like, oh, I
Mhm.
don't know what's going to happen here. But I
Mhm.
started with the water. So it's recommended that you treat your water, you wand your water and you drink
Yeah.
it. And I'm very familiar with Dr. Emoto, the Japanese scientist
Yes.
who
Yes.
wrote about water. So for the
Yeah.
first few days, I did the water, and then I just did 2
Mhm.
minutes on my palms of my hands and the soles of my feet. And I'll tell you what really I noticed instantly. I
Mhm.
stopped needing to sleep in the day.
Mhm.
So I it just gave me 10 times, 20 times the energy.
Mhm.
So that was just incredible for me. And
Yes.
I'll give you some context to that. I've been anemic since
Mm,
17. My body doesn't absorb iron. So
mm.
naturally, I'm more tired than maybe the
Yes.
average person, but
Yes.
I don't pay much mind to it. So what I've noticed as I've gotten closer to menopause is that
Mm.
it's almost like all those health problems that we
Yeah.
experience just
Mm-hmm. Come back.
compound
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
so I was having endometriosis, a
Mm-hmm.
diagnosis in
Mm-hmm.
2014. So that
Mm-hmm.
made my cycle very painful and very exhausting. So you
Mm-hmm.
add that to anemia, and
Mm.
it's hard going. So
Yes.
I would then need to rest a lot during the day throughout
Mm-hmm.
the month.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been going like this for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
quite concerned that no matter what I did, no matter how much I tried to take care of myself, I didn't seem to be really recovering. So when
Mm-hmm.
the wand came, honestly, it just put me back. I felt like I was I mean, I just had so much energy. I felt like I was on top of the world. And I still do. I use it every day. I don't need to sleep in the day. The pain that I was experiencing in my ovaries, that's completely gone. I had inflammation in the joints. So I'd be very tired from that, from all the hormones that happen during that whole menopause, perimenopause. Gone, no more pain in my joints. And you know, it wasn't like I changed my lifestyle radically. It wasn't that I did a load of different things with my diet.
Nothing has changed except you started blowing yourself.
I started using this
Exactly.
wand, and I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
Amazing.
So obviously, you know, I've introduced it to my family. It's helping my
Mhm.
sister. She's in her 60s and she has a lot of hip pain, and
Mhm.
it's gone.
Yeah.
I should say she had a lot of hip pain because she doesn't have it now.
Amazing.
She also uses it every day on her shoulders because she's had very
Mhm.
tight, stiff, you know, this kind of thing for all her
Wow.
life. And she said now they're
Really?
just
Like that?
totally
Okay.
relaxed.
All
Yeah,
crunched up, that kind of thing.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Wow.
And so she's
And,
gone
and
on
your,
to help
your
other
your your
people.
your mom, right? Your mom had a
My
stroke.
mum was
Yeah.
using it, and you know what? So here's the thing: she had a stroke at New
Mhm.
Year's. This was a very
Yeah.
unexpected situation,
Mhm.
and we have the MRI of that stroke. And what happened to her is that she stopped being able to speak.
Wow.
She struggled. She was trying to find the words. She couldn't recall the words. So in the stroke, her processing was affected,
Yeah.
her recall, memory
Yeah.
recall, all of
Neurons.
that.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, and so we started treating her 15 minutes every day with the wand and the water. And
Yes.
within 10 days, she had her speech back, she had her recall
Wow.
back. And not just
Fantastic.
that, but she actually couldn't text. When she had the stroke, people would send her a
Mhm.
text message or even just a phone call, and she was like, I
I
don't even know
know.
what you're saying. I like,
Yeah.
what are they talking about? She couldn't read, let alone respond.
Yeah.
And again, in the same time frame of 10 days, she's able
Mhm.
to completely understand and text back. So
Wow.
she's had an incredible bounce back. It's been yeah,
It's so nice to hear, stories like that, really.
mm,
It's just so
yeah.
touching, really. I'm so happy. Yeah, for your
So
mom.
there's a huge amount that the body can do, isn't it? When we give it the
Yeah,
right
yeah,
environment, give it the right um, conditions.
yeah,
It's a self-healing, you know, the
yeah.
body is self-healing, really. And we just need to give it a boost because we're being bombarded all the time in our environment with so
Absolutely.
many
I mean, not
harmful things
only the
to
the
us.
pollutants, the toxins, the
Yeah,
stress, and everything else.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
mean, I was surprised because I remember thinking at the
Mm,
time, well, you know, I know this works, but I was still, when I received it, thinking, you know, I don't know, you know, yeah, I can tell it works, but it might not work that well. And I've been astonished. And I also lost weight. And I also found that
Yeah.
I have more of a tolerance for food that would usually cause me illness. I can
Mm,
tolerate it better. But that's
mm,
not to say that I want to eat those foods because ultimately they're not great for me.
mm.
But yeah, it's been really good. I'm really
Yeah,
happy.
and I guess you also did remote healing for others and as well as
Yeah, so I
other,
started
yeah.
experimenting because I know that
Yeah.
space of very well. I decided to do a treatment on a few people who are also very sensitive to energy. So
Mhm.
one person had a foot neuropathy, and they're thousands of miles away. And after
Yeah.
15 minutes live, I decided to keep them on Zoom with me.
Mhm.
They had flexibility in their foot that they haven't had for months.
Wow, amazing.
And another friend who had a COVID, so she was
Mm,
very heavy, stuffy,
mhm.
feeling, you know, that the sort of tightness in the head that you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
with those symptoms.
Mhm.
And we did 30 minutes and it cleared it completely.
Wow.
So even people who are working in that space of natural frequency healing with them.
Yeah.
They're they can use this device. And also I've spoken to a number of friends that I know who are in that space of healing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they have said and commented that this device has amplified their abilities.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think when we talk about frequencies in healing, if the frequency comes from you to someone else, then it's coming from you. It's not as powerful as something like the terahertz. And through your manifestation, you direct that energy to that person. And we all know how good terahertz works on the body. It's definitely much more effective. And yeah, I'm glad you tried it because well, it works. It works for you. It works for them, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, I'm still noticing changes, and I'm really interested to see, in 6 months' time, what will be the case. Because I've only had it for 2 months. I've only been using it for 2 months. So I'm really looking forward. I'm planning to make some changes to my diet because I feel like it really amplifies what we give it. So if we're giving good food to the body, the frequency can work more with the good stuff. So
absolutely. And also, a lot of energy healers. Do share with them, tell them your experience, and maybe the word will get around so that more energy healers will use our device to heal others remotely. Fantastic. All right, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for coming forward to share your story, and all the very best to you.
Thank you. You too.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Wow. So we have two wonderful stories from two wonderful ladies from different parts of the world, but nevertheless, it just goes to show that this wonderful device works. And for those of you who have similar kind of problems with these ladies, do give it a try. And I'm sure it'll work for you as well. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next week.